I think, sorry, I
Okay.
think that maybe the audio with Nuria, uh, it's
Is that what?
replicating.
Ah,
Yes, now we can. Yes.
perfect. Yes. Is everything good? Okay. Nice. All right. Awesome. So yeah, thank you everyone. This larger talk is kind of our first Zoom on a kind of a regional game studies approach. So this talk is on games and communities Barcelona, focusing on three really cool projects and groups who are working with the communities of Barcelona to develop and push games and play and in a variety of really cool forms. Really exciting stuff. So after we have Playing the City, we are going to have a talk by Resistencia Videoludica, which will examine the video game landscape in Barcelona through mediation in art centers and exhibitions across the territory, drawing on both their own experience and that of other professionals. They reflect on how these spaces function, the limitations they encounter, and the critical practices they seek to develop within and beyond institutions. Finally, we will have Kevin Marín-Rubio, a PhD fellow at the Faculty of Education at the University of Barcelona, and he will explore the creation and consolidation of Play Utopia, a video game club for young people in Barcelona, which through action research examines a critical utopian pedagogical practice and builds a community of future making around games as cultural media. So really exciting stuff. Whenever you're ready, Tamara and Nuria, please feel welcome to share your presentation and get going.
Okay, thank you very much to everyone. I will share my window and our presentation. Can you see it okay? Great. Nuria, I don't know if you can turn on your audio.
Yeah, my audio is going.
Okay, great.
Okay, my video only.
Well, my name is Tamara. I'm an architect and an artistic mediator, and in the other line is Nuria.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Nuria. I'm an architect too, and I'm a teenager teacher too. I have formation about teaching.
We are from Transita Association, which is an association of non-profit that we use art as a medium, as a bridge to get a transformation in people, a wellness, and focus especially on how can be the architecture, this bridge, and can make people feel better, communities, and we use architecture not only as a way to play, but as a pedagogical tool and a way to get the transformation in young children. We are here in Barcelona from 2019, and we share some of the pictures of our project because we usually get the question of how do we do architecture with kids and what is that we do. So I think the pictures are a little bit more helpful to show it, that we build little construction and we make furnitures and we make a lot of activities, not only at schools, but also in places outside. And we work like architecture as a language. In 2019, we make an investigation and we put the focus on how can we learn from the video games design to make the architecture project to improve. Because we were seeing that what happened with children is that they can concentrate in YouTube videos or TikTok videos for a lot of time. And then we hear that, oh, what happened with kids, that they cannot focus, that they don't have concentration. And we think that that was something that was wrong. I think that they get concentration, but they get concentration in the designing of the things that they are interested in. So we ask ourselves the question, why do they pay attention to video games and not to education? And how can we turn that and make they focus on education through learning about gaming design? So we learned a lot of things, a lot of important things. And I think one of the one that we cared the most was how to build an emotion in kids through architecture, through all the activities that we plan. So that is one of the base and of all the things that we do in all the program of architecture, because we use all this methodological type of video gaming, but we use it for architecture. So we adapt all the content of for example, if we want they to build spaces, we focus on what they're interested is from them nowadays. For example, football, then we design football plays, or we apply the methodological system of how to win lives or how can they lose lives, and we focus all this in all our work. Nuria.
So what brings us here today, within the context of the games and the arts, is one of the currently developing project we are going on, that is La Ciutat que volem. In the translation, the literal translation is the city we want. We are children, not we like an adults. No, the project is volem. Volem is a verb that translate like want or like deserve. We can make a lot of translations of this volem. Because this year, Barcelona, I don't know if you are, if you know that, this year Barcelona is the world capital of architecture, and the city will host the World Congress, the World International Congress of Architecture, but too, more than 1,500 public activities, which I meant to bring architecture closer to the citizens, all the citizens. The ones who lives in the city, those who will visit it, the ones who are in a bad stage, the ones who are childs. And in this context, within this context, we have the privilege of leading one of the most ambitious participatory process with children. Development in relation of all the architecture and the conformation of the city. So the project La Ciutat que volem, or the city we want, we congress more than 100 children from the ages between 8 and 12 years from each of the 10 districts of Barcelona, and in a process of over 45 hours of work. It's a workshop, one and a half hour for week, from October 25 to May 26, that all of these childs are thinking about what they want, what city they want to live in 2036, in 10 years. So each group is developing a specific urban proposal. We mark or we fix 4 goals, 4 principal goals. What is researching what is the better city of our children, giving them the architecture for life, that we say, that is thinking for and from the childhood. We give them tools to understand, to look at the environment with another eyes, with another view. And finally, how the designing space it affect or in the way we live when we stay in the city. obviously, no, the methodology we use is a meaningful and active methodologies. Now we are going to explain a specific block. The project has a lot of blocks around the year, but we are going to explain the central interactive block, make it like a game. It's a game, the central block. It is focused by the creative process and based in the Eduardo Salles book. I think that it's not translated, but it's a very interesting book who explains or focus in the different stations of the process of creation. No, define, know, explore the idea, train, and do. So, in this context, we have designed an interactive game with a tool that it's called Simbaloo. I don't know if you can if you have seen. It's a tool that you can use them like an organization. Your webs, but també, what to have an education path. They say path. It's like a path you can where you can put the different activities and each activity have his link, and then you have some gifts or or presents, no, when you final one of each one of the sorry, the Tamara, help me.
Of the steps, yes.
Yeah, the
I
steps.
was-
Oh, no, the word I was working is challenges.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we wanted to show you a little video of this, but I don't know if it's working. Well, when you go around from one block to the other block, you unblock like another page where you have another game. So this game is played simultaneously in the 10 groups in Barcelona for more than 100 kids. So they, step by step, they unblock the different challenge and they will go solving that challenge. And that challenge is all structured for, like Nuria said, from this book. And they make the idea, then they have to make the idea, they have to make little teams. Those little teams have to vote which is the idea that they want to build the maqueta, and which is the idea of that maqueta, who is going to make the plans, who is going to make them. There's like, all the design step by step of this, we call it interactive game. And in parallel of this, all these presents that they unblock, it's because we have an album. I don't know how is the word in English, because here we say it's cromos or figuritas, that they earn different cromos.
Like stickers, like a sticker.
Yes, like a sticker. Yeah. And all the teams earn different stickers, and they go pasting it in the final book that they have. It's called the Secrets of Our City, and that's another way that they have to go finding the different spaces from Barcelona, the great places from Barcelona. We wanted to show you a video, but I don't know if it's working. Here are some pictures of the process. The process is working right now. They are now in making all these ideas come true. It's really amazing, really. They have incredible ideas, and we're looking forward, because in June we have the big exposition. I don't know how you say it. The way where they are going to show the world all these ideas, that these are concrete ideas of urbanism for the for their own districts. And I wanted to show you the video. I don't know if I can make it work, because in the video we can see how the video game or the let me see. I think I found the way. Here, you make your user and
Avatar, yeah.
your avatar, yeah, and you unblock the game. And well, this one is where we presented the game, and this video was shown from all the children's, and then you come back and you go unblocking the step by step, and you, well, the different teams make the challenge. And then there's a way where they have the rewards, and it's really working really, really good, really great. Here's, for example, one of the games that they might have to make the different idea from the city. So they have to think about things that doesn't work in the city, or that can be better, or that, well. And this was the exhibition of the game. And finally, the last thing that we want to share with you, Nuria, I don't know if I'm leaving anything behind.
We don't want to end this talk without telling you four of the most important things that architecture has taught us, and that we really like to be able to share with everyone. So there are four basic commandments to face any creative or life challenge.
We think that architecture, as we say in the beginning, it's not only a bridge to feel better and to know the space and to design places to live, but we have like this manifesto, which is based in 4 blocks. The one is that there's place for everyone, because to make a construction in architecture, we have so many people involved in that situation. So we have the constructor, we have the electrical, we have the design, and we think that there's a place for everyone in architecture. The second one
is it's mandatory to make mistakes, because in the process to arrive at the final design, which one will be constructed. We make a lot of sketches, models, and we want forward and backwards. Anytime you need to arrive on a final decision, the final design. So the mistake is an opportunity to learn and to make it better. No, it's not a problem, no, because it's an important thing to tell to our children, to our teenagers, because frustration is a is a very important problem in the day awards.
Then we, in our space and in the space of architecture, we are allowed to copy, because we think we, like an architect, we copy a lot. And it's something that we used to say that they cannot do that at school, but yes, in architecture, that they can copy another ideas, because that means that the idea that our friend has is amazing. So we improve to copy. And the last things that we promote with this game is
there's no single solution. No, they are. We can make a challenge. We have a problem and there are multiple solutions who can solve them. So there's no one. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 multiple solutions who can solve the problem, and which can be super super cool. So the child and teenagers are they make exams at the school, and I don't have it. I don't respond well. No. Here, there's no one only answer. There's not one only solution. Each one
Yeah.
can thought a lot of his or her
Ideas.
own solution.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's all. Thank you very much. That was the
Great.
presentation of our La Ciutat
Thank
que
you so much.
volem game.
Yeah, thank you so much. We have a couple of minutes for a question, at least time for one or two questions. Any questions? If you're online, you can either, raise your hand digitally and talk directly, or you can post in chat and we can read aloud. Okay, I will start with the first question, as is traditional. So given that you're kind of using this game frame to initiate kind of ideal city imaginaries with children, do you find that game frame affects or comes out in these ideal cities in any surprising ways when you've run it?
Sorry, can you repeat the question? I don't know.
Yeah. So given that they have been doing this ideation about these fictional cities in a game, is there any ways that you've been surprised by what the children have come up with, or you've seen that this game entrance has affected them in the results of what they end up focusing on?
Yes, we still don't have the results of the game because it's working right now. But what I can really say is that they get so excited and so emotional, and they arrive to the workshop with so many. I mean, sometimes it's very hard to express all that, and they really make the game from themselves. I mean, they really go saying, we are going to play La Ciutat que volem. I mean, I think that's something that it's because of the game. I think it's because they go unblocking and they think about the game in the place of the educational space. So that things, I think that is because of the game. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because of the game and because of the gifts, the stickers they win after each challenge, and then have to see where they go to to put them, and it's all of them is the game, not only the game in the PCs, but the gift, the challenges, and the stickers. All of them makes children be curious.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We have a question online by the Circle of Cosmographers. They say, this was exciting, thanks. Could you say a little bit about the process of setting this up in the schools? Was it something that happened in class time, or was it an after-school program? What was your experience and process in recruiting teachers?
Yeah, no, this is an extra-scholar, it's after-school program, and each group has a teacher which made a formation about all these programs. I mean, they are teachers that we have online meetings every month, and they know the game, and it's like this methodology applies on this group, and it's an after-school. We hope to can make this get into the schools, but we still are in the after-school program.
Cool. All right. I think that's all of our time for right now. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really cool program. I hope the results come out exactly as you hope.
Yeah.
Great. And next we have Resistencia Videoludica. So whenever you're ready.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen. Can you see the presentation?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So hello to everyone. Good afternoon. We would like to first of all thank you, the people at the Game Art Center, for the opportunity, and also Paul Asensio for the trust that has placed in us. So thank you very much. We are Resistencia Biológica. We are a Barcelona-based collective. We are Violeta Moldes, Laia Velasco, and me, Victor Rubio. And our perspective around video games has been a community-focused and anti-capitalist way of making critique, analysis, and reflection around video games in the city of Barcelona and in other places, but mainly in the city of Barcelona. And yeah, we have been doing cultural mediation for the past like 2.5 years, 3 years, analyzing especially the current discourses around video games and trying to bring like some sort of new way of thinking video games or some sort of alternative thinking of video games, contraposing to the classical and hegemonic structures linked to the industry that is a way of thinking video games that I think it's everywhere in the world, but in Barcelona too. So yeah, some projects that we have been doing was like a little part of the curationship for the Overkill Festival. It's an alternative, alternative video game festival made in the Netherlands. We have been to the 2024 edition. The theme was Radical Joy Resistance. So yeah, we bring 5 video games from the peripheria, from some places in Spain and the Spanish state that are not like very represented in popular culture or media culture, and try to talk how that the place where video games are created, it's important, and it's not also important, it affects the way that video games are perceived and the way the video games are created and the themes that are created. So we try to bring that locality as a sign of resistance to that, the Overkill Festival. And then inside the festival, we have done a little workshop using Downpour. It's a mobile phone video game creation tool to try to talk about the resistance imaginaries that we have in ourselves using like our personal photos and all that stuff. And then the project that we have been working for a lot of time, like 8 months working on that, was the Wholesome Game Club. It's very similar to a book club when you like read a chapter a month, but in the game club we play a video game a month from April 2024 to October 2025, so 7 or 8 months. I don't know. I'm not doing the math now, but yeah, and it was like an open space talking about the problematics that has wholesome games that are like a kind of video game very centered and near that cute aesthetic, and yet talking about how that video games also replicate neoliberal and colonial and exploitative to the earth and the people dynamics. And then all that knowledge that we have been created through 8 months, we summarize it in a fanzine using content and creations that the people that come to the game club to the game club created for free, voluntarily. And yeah, in the club come like Paul and Kevin. So yeah, it's very nice. It was a nice experience.
And also like in the mix of like those are like main activities that we usually like coordinate and organize, but we also like to participate in many different events and spaces. For example, here we have like the 2 pictures about 2 different talks that we did in different spaces. The first one is like the video game is not the future. That was like a summarize of all of these things that Victor has just said, like other ways of thinking video games, especially like locally within like the tensions and the violences within of our territory and of lives, like trying to keep that, like to erase that aura of the video game is the future and will be like the ultimate artistic solution or everything, and just erase all of that of the imaginaries of the video game and try to think it in another way. And we did that in Guadalindi, and we also like to try to work with like the public spaces, especially here in Barcelona. We did that talk in Coches de Sants, that is a public center in Barcelona with Luca Ramada and Maria Brioso. That Luca Ramada is a specialist that Kevin also will, I'm sure he will talk about him, is a specialist about mediating video games with children, and Maria Rios is a public library servician here in Manresa. There is another space around in Catalonia, and we share a talk about them and talking about approaches to the videoludic culture in the libraries, in civic centers, and in art centers. And also, we recently published an article in the Rara magazine that is called like "And the Video Game What?" Like roughly translation, and it was like a constellation about resistance histories in about the video game, especially in Barcelona. You know, like especially talking about Barcelona and its relationship with the video game, since Barcelona is like a digital hub and a place that a lot of big companies like Ubisoft or King or Scopelli come because the salaries are very cheap and we have sand and beach, and that erases all of the local communities that are trying to live with a less pay here. So we talk about that, and we talk about different example of video games that reflect that. Victor, can you pass? And also we participate in another space that is the Sant Jordi Jam, that is a game jam, especially like the main topic is Sant Jordi, that is one of the main myths of the Catalonian mythology, that is about a mighty knight that kills a dragon, and it's a very huge festivity here in Catalonia that you have to give a book and a rose to someone that you love, and we use that to do a game jam in about like 22 days, like it's from the very 1st of April to the day of the San Jordi, and then we do like a end, like a party end, that all of the people that participated in the jam, they can share like the experience of doing the game, or why they did the game, or why they choose what to do or what not to do to uh, reflect the theme of the game jam. And we did we do this with the help and the collaboration. Like we are like more people doing that. There are Paco Juan, Aria, and Americo that are our friends in college, and all of us do this. And we are now currently preparing the next one edition to 2026. And you can pass. And also another of the places that we do work on is TESVI, that is the union coordinator of video games here in Spain. It's a video game union that is all in the Spanish territory, but we are within the CGT, that is one of the main anarcho-syndicalist unions, a historical union here in Spain, and we do like a lot of work there with the strikes, with many ways of diffusion. We also do their a fanzine about the experience of the workers union fighting, the many aspects, layoffs that I'm sure that you are aware of, and all of that, all of the things that we do, we reflect that on the CSVA, and now we are also like trying to make contact and establish, bridges with other, mainly European unions, because the legislation is the same, but we also are in contact with unions in Australia and United States and Canada and all of that. And yet that's this one or other of the spaces that we are within. Victor.
And one of the spaces in which the video game scene in Barcelona mainly develops is gaming clubs, much like the Wholesome Games Club we already talked about. And of course, Kevin will later speak about the gaming club he organizes, which is Play Utopia. But there are also many others, and they are addressed at different age groups and different kind of people and ways of looking at video games, but they mostly follow the way of doing clubs like the book clubs. And they also mostly happen in public spaces like Violeta said, for example, community centers or centers managed by community organizers. And one of the places in which digital and video game culture develops most in Barcelona specifically is the community center of Cocheras de Sants in the neighborhood of Sants, because they have a strong will to do culture with video games, and they have a very alive and community around the gaming club there. There's also the Salvador Gaming Club in Cornellà, which is a neighboring city to Barcelona. And also with other perspectives, for example, there is the Hangar Gaming Club, which is based in a residency space of contemporary art in Barcelona. So they focus more on experimental approach to video games. And also there are, of course, digital fiction clubs and video game clubs in high schools. For example, this is the digital fiction club at the Fonserra High School, managed by Lucas Ramada, which we already mentioned before. And we also have a very alive local developing community. This developing community mostly meets up in the Cocheras de Sants Community Center, and it's a steady group of around 50 people that meet up regularly every month. And there are in the same group people that are in the industry, people that are hobbyists, people that want to get in the industry but don't know how. And it's a very mixed space with different approaches to video games, but it is a very local focused space. And we also wanted to highlight some examples of some artists and developers working in this context. For example, the visual novel Sol by Nebulae Team, which is a visual novel only available in Catalan, and it wasn't made for commercial purpose, so it's available for free. Or the Flipperton Collective, which is a developing video game art collective that focus on alt control games and physical interfaces with video games. Or, for example, the Hit Me video game by the developer Chiri, which is a Chilean Catalan developer, which is a game about a queer community wanting to make a film and surviving in Santiago de Chile. And then we lastly wanted to highlight the overlap between video games and contemporary art circuits in Barcelona specifically. We think that, and we know that video games are present in most contemporary art circuits, but they are not usually overlapping with the large developing community of only video games. So they are a bit more separated and created more in the contemporary artist space, but they do appear in museums, in art centers, in residency programs, mostly through game art or a specific way of doing art games. And for example, we have an older example of the video game maze walkthrough by Serafín Álvarez at the Museum of Contemporary Art in Barcelona, the MACBA. But we also have some current examples here. For example, the performance and multimedia project Animal Cruising by Daniel Cao, which he is currently doing at the Fabra Codes Creative Factory residency, which is a game and performance meeting the appropriation of garden spaces in digital and cities by the queer community. Or, for example, the Ethereal State video game by Paula Garcia Sanz at the Sadar Jova exhibition this year, which is a video game that explores the history of a village that is now underwater after the construction of a dam in the central part of Catalonia. And for example, they use also video games in spaces of mediation in art foundations like the Miro Foundation, with this example, The Waiting Room by Daniel Ronald Moldan, Carlos Carbonell, Alex Wifi, which is a video game in which you can explore the museum through a different lens and also like a magical or poetic twist. And that is all for us. Thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, we will be glad to answer. And if you want to contact us, this is our address.
Great. Thank you so much. All right. I see we already have a hand raised, an eager question. So Kevin Marín-Rubio, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. We know each other at Barcelona, but there's something that I have never asked you, and I'm very curious about it. That it's what is the main motivations that you find in people that come to the places that you curate? I mean, I can understand that it's quite a niche community, and how do you find inside this niche community a diversity of motivations of people approaching these spaces?
Like,
I think I can answer that if you.
go, because yes.
Okay, so for example, I think a good example of that is the way in which we arranged the group of people that came to the Wholesome Game Club, because we wanted to have a diverse group, but we also acknowledged that it's a very niche topic and it required some experience with video games. It wasn't a gaming club for high schoolers or for the general public, but we did want to have people from different backgrounds, and I think we achieved that. And the common interest was to be able to have a space in which video games were talked about not through an industrial lens or through the fan lens of liking video games very much, but more in a critical lens, which is not destructive but constructive. And we had people from the mediation spaces, from libraries, from the contemporary art scene, also from the academic world, also from association groups within developing communities. And in all of these different groups, there are people who really want to have spaces to interact with video games in a critical manner, I think.
Like, how do they fund us? Because that, like, we don't have like very strong like channels. I think of course what Laia said was like the right answer. When she was talking, I was thinking about like, I think it also helps that in Barcelona, I think that there is a very like very strong connected community around like all of these themes, right? And it's like we are always finding each other in every one of these spaces, right? I don't know, like, because I don't know how this could be replicated in any other place right now. It's difficult.
We'll think about it. Thank you.
Very much. All right. Any other questions, audience? So kind of a practical question from me. I'm kind of curious about like how large is your organization? You talked about a lot of diverse different types of projects. Like how many main organizers are doing this? Is this like a really diverse set of different collectives with an umbrella? Is there a
No,
central?
you like
Just this.
we are here. Yeah, we are the three of
Yeah,
us.
right.
Yeah.
So strong, so strong. I love it. Okay. And how often are you guys meeting to put together this this kind of set of
Maybe like once
Month.
a week. Yeah, once a
Oh,
month.
no.
Yeah, no. Once a month
Or
is more.
twice month. Yeah.
Twice a month, more or less. Yeah.
Like are, for example, like the talks or places like Santo de Jam or CSBR, and like we're not there. Like maybe I'm at CSBI every day, but Laia and Victor not. I'm in San Jordi Jam. They are more. Am I not like we like diversify or efforts, and all these things like the wholesome video game club that was like very time demanding, but that was like once, and now we are like finding ourselves that we can do it and again this year because we don't have like the energy or the capacity because we have jobs and all of that things. And yeah, this is
capitalism.
like the combination of a very standard time, I think like 2 years or something like that, and also that a lot of the things that we do with many other people, like many other people.
Okay. And so how long has this project been going? Have you three been kind of delivering these things? You said 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years and a half maybe since
I
don't
think
know, yeah,
going on
June.
3 years, yeah.
3, yeah.
Yeah.
June 2023, 2024, more or less, yeah, over there.
Yeah.
Cool. How connected to the modern art scene is your group? You kind of mentioned that as it's a very interesting kind of thing. Is the people you work with, like, how close are they to the modern arts world?
Raya?
I think that Laia can respond it
Yeah,
better.
I think I have to answer this one. So we come from different backgrounds, more or less. We have like a common set of interests, but me, for example, I come from studying arts. So I think I was at the beginning the link between video games and more like the contemporary art scene. So when we started doing like a residency, research residency at the Santa Monica Art Center. There is like a strong contemporary arts in there because it's a contemporary art center, of course. So in that way, that was like a sort of bridge, but we didn't do like exhibitions or it wasn't our main thing there, but we do have these connections because we are interested in the contemporary art world. And we're also interested in the developing communities and video games that are not in contact with contemporary art. But we also see that there is a gap between the two, and they do not intersect as much as we would want to, because the circuits are different. The events people go to are different. The spaces where people show their games are different, but they are starting to intersect more and more now, I think.
Cool. Nice. All right. I think that's all of our time for this talk. So thank you very, very much. Really interesting. And Kevin Marín-Rubio, you are whenever you're ready.
Yes, let me try to share the screen. It's here. Okay. Can you see it properly?
Yes, we can.
Yes. So, as Dylan presented me, I'm Kevin, a predoctoral fellow at the Faculty of Education at the University of Barcelona. What I will presenting today will be my PhD research, but as it is as the project evolved, now we're a team of 4 educators. Between us, there is Violeta, who presented just before me, and also Paul, who is one of the hosts of today. So what we do in Barcelona, we have a video game club at a community center for young people. We meet each Friday, or maybe one of every 2 Fridays, and what we do is play some games, and then through the conflicts that arises through the game, we talk about how they imagine the future, trying to create a critical but also addressable future. So what I'm working in my PhD research, it's about the critical utopian gaming pedagogy. Later, I can talk a little about it. But the main points of this pedagogy and what we do in the club is the first of them is open spaces for critique around video games, also co-creating desirable future imaginaries, appropriating video games as cultural media, and trying not only to reflect on these issues, but also to promote transformative action inside the community. So this club that we are working started in 2023. That's where we arrived at the neighborhood inside a border research project where we study the sense of place of people in that neighborhood. And these neighborhoods are in a vulnerable situation because of socioeconomical conditions. And then when I arrived inside this group, I offered that I could do some kind of video game cultural mediation. And we found that there was already a club in a community center that was about video games. It was called Go Gaming. It was a Pakistani community, and they gathered to play PUBG. PUBG, it's a royal battle video game where you have to survive over another 90 players. So what they did, sorry, is to gather physically, play some tournaments, and then who won, they got he or she got some reward in euros, and they could spend it for rewards like loot boxes inside the game. So when I arrived, I encountered that the one who was in charge of this club was about to leave the community center, and that I could enter to continue with this class, but reframing it a little to approach it with the other objectives. So in support with the youth coordination networks and other education people and other educators who are working with the community, with young people, we did 5 trial sessions, and now we've been through 2 years of this club, and the young people have between 12 and 20 years old. So I'd like to put this example to understand what we do when I talk about critic. This was in one session where we played Papers, Please. Papers, Please, you act and you play as a border patrol, and you decide which immigrants enter to your country and which not. So it makes you enter in moral dilemmas because you have to take care about your family, and if you get wrong with the papers that they present you, you get punished by the state. And you get punished in your salary because you have to pay the rent and you have to pay the medicines for your family and also the food. So when we played this game, there was one girl of 12 years old from Pakistan who identified this experience because she lived this experience also in her own skin. So she encountered, and she was explaining, that it was an unfair situation because the immigrants had to pass because they would starve. That was what she was telling. Also, the people at the other side with the rifles had to shoot because if not, they would go to jail. And then she, as a border patrol, had to obey. So what she did in the game was to sacrifice herself. She let everyone pass. She didn't care about the rules. And she encountered in an ending that she was put into jail. Her family could flee. And it started some kind of revolution inside the country. And she was explaining to the rest of the group that she was happy with this ending and that in real life she would do the same. And the other ones couldn't believe that. So another interesting thing about what happened with this playthrough was that the other ones was telling her that she was playing the game bad because she didn't want to win the game. And this is very interesting because this girl didn't have much game literacy. She neither played much games. So she was proving against the others that were so focused on winning the game, because that is what you're supposed to have to do in the games, that the fact of putting them together to talk not only about social and political issues, but also the way they approach the games, this helps them to build a critical lens in the ways that they play to these games. So to do this, what we do as an educational methodology is that each session we start by a map. We have a map in the room where we post their reflections, their questions, their conflicts, local issues, personal issues, references to movies, the games that we play, and then each session we contextualize it at the beginning through the map. Then we put the trailer of the game that we're going to play, and with after an initial discussion, they used to play by pairs to encourage discussion between them. And then while they're playing, if they find some conflict or it arises some question during the gameplay experience, I ask them to write a question in a post-it and also a screen capture. So after that, we start all the dialogues after the gameplay through the questions that they ask, and also with the screen captures to link it with the game experience. And after doing some reflections and build the dialogue through here, then we post some conclusions in the map. And then through these voices, we select the next game. So after the first season, this was the map that we built, we co-created. We invited families and friends, and also the young people told the families what we did. And the map is there as a contribution to the community. The second point of this critical utopian gaming pedagogy has to do with co-creating the several feature imaginers. very near, very similar to the first presentation. We used several techniques like the futures counts, the video game townscaper, and one important thing is that we have a special arrangement in a circular way, so they are able to talk about their designs just pointing it or looking at it, because we have the space with the organizations that you can see in the picture. And the third point is about approaching video games as cultural media. We weren't interested just to use one game, but several different games, most of them independent. Lucas Ramada Prieto, who was mentioned before, is one of its national reference in this work. There is also Frederic Torres Ubeda, which I also encourage you to search for these Instagrams. What we do about games literacy, one of the things is we have a guide with different recommendations of alternative video games, where so the families know which kind of game they could buy instead of just depending on what the algorithm. These are the games that we used for the first season. I can talk a lot of anecdotes and dialogues that arise through these games. These are the ones that we used in the second season. Maybe you know some of them. We have more in the third season. But another thing that we're implementing is that they can present what they find special about the video games that they play. We also introduce different games that are played in a different way. For example, Push Me and Pull You, where you have two people that play with one controller. And to the last objective, as it is an action research project, it has to benefit the community. So right now we're working in making it autonomous. So the community center worker is becoming the youth reference. And one of the most difficult issues that we find, or challenges, is how do we connect all these conflicts and thoughts to actually making a change in the community. So we have some events like the youth encountering or meeting, where the young people in our club gets to know the tenants union, the scout group, the socialist youth organization. And it's a way that we find that if they have some interests in some of the aspect of their community to improve, they can get to a political or social organization that is tackling that issue in their neighborhood. So my presentation goes till here. Thank you for listening. If you have any suggestion or question, I will be very glad to answer it. There's also Paul and Violeta here, so I think that they can also answer some questions if they want. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. Any questions immediately being in the audience? Yeah, please.
Yes, you said that the map with the questions and discussions about the games can also be used for the community. Could you explain a bit more about that? How is it used exactly?
Yes, I'm finding a lot of educators and also young people just come at the center. This is in the computer room of the community center. So the computer room is used for another reasons and for another purposes. One of the things that a lot of people tell me is that they had been discussing about issues that there are in the map, like informally, because they get to maybe people who are learning to use Microsoft in the computer room. They enter this space, they see the map, and then they spend like 30 minutes discussing about the conversations that the young people had in the gaming club. So it's also not only a way of continuing this conversation, we could use it for making another map, for example, but also for other people to see what video games can be not useful, but how video games can enrich our conversation about how we see the world. I hope that answers you.
Yes. Very cool. Any other questions? I kind of have a follow-up from that. Do you have like an example of a topic that's in that map that you find really interesting or you think came out? Like what? Yeah.
Yeah, I can. I don't know if you will see it. Let me. I have a slide about it. So one of the things that happened is that after playing every day the same dream and Inside, which are two games that talk about what's the meaning and the purpose of life, and also they talk about mind control and so on. One of the things that happened, let me show you just here. Yes, you can see it at the right part of this slide. One of the things that happened is that one of the members was in Minecraft one night, not in the video game club. And he was thinking, after playing Inside and every day the same dream, he was thinking about what was the purpose of logging into Minecraft at night when he had an exam for the next day. So he connected that experience to Ready Player One, and he the next week arrived with a picture printed, because sometimes I asked them for pictures to bring it to the map. He brought a picture about the servers offline in Minecraft and Ready Player One, and he was making a reflection about he used Minecraft as a way of escaping reality or escaping mandatory things that he had to do, like exams. So these questions about if technology or video games helped us to escape reality or to live with reality or outside the game in a different way, went to a discussion of another group. So what we did in the map is making a link with a rope to the discussion in another group. Then they had some discussions about about AI and so on, and then the second group made questions about a dilemma that is in philosophy: if you would get into a happiness machine. And then this question of the second group returned it to the first group, and then we asked the young people about if they would enter in a happy machine where you just connect some dots and you would be happy for the rest of your life. And one of the interesting things that they were telling is that it wouldn't be happiness, because happiness, you have to earn it. And that was so, how to say, hopeless for me. They were they were explaining that you have to suffer to earn your happiness. And just one of them explained something different, that he didn't care at all. He didn't care a fact that is how he expressed it. But casually, he's someone who has a lot of issues in the system, let's say in the educational system. So you can see how because all of them are in a vulnerable situation, but the ones that doesn't fit, they don't care about suffering and effort for being happy. So this is one of a lot of discussions that we have around the map.
Super
Sorry,
interesting.
I extended a little bit, but
No,
there are
you're great. You're great. We still have another couple, 3 minutes if there's any other questions. Yeah.
Yes, so maybe my question would be, now that you were speaking of critical lens and utopia and hope, maybe my question would be, which would be the main weaknesses or shortcomings or challenges for Utopia project, and also what are your hopes for the future for the youth center and video game club? Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Paul. So one of the main challenges is becoming it autonomous and being able to extend the methodology to other places. I think it requires of a educator's profile very specific, where if you want to create video games, you have to know about games, but you also have to know about education and about how to say, dynamization in these kind of communities. So as you know, Lucas Ramada Prieto project. If you don't have this profile, then you have to create it. And then you have to do education for educators to create these video games, or the opposite way, right? If you know about game literacies, let's talk about how can you dynamicize these kind of sessions. So this is one of the main issues. And the second one, I would say that we have a lot of conversations, not only about critical putting critical lens around several issues, but also how to co-create a addressable future. Through different video games, they have some proposals about how they want the future. But one of the main issues or challenges that I find is that it's very difficult to find a common ground. To talk about the commons, what do all of them find fair and just for the future? It's very difficult to approach it, but I think that we have to work towards it. Yeah. Thank you for the question. Well, if you learn more things in Tampere, please come and tell me what we can do.
Yes, the finished secrets will come. Yeah.
Yes.
We have, I think, time for one more question. There's any other questions?
A little bit out of the blue.
An out of the blue question.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can't get it out of my head to like compare a little bit of like Tampere and like this is more of a like a technical questions like Tampere and Barcelona or like Finland and Spain, and because in my hometown here you can find everything basically inside a 45-minute walk, I would say. So it's a very small town compared to big city standards, and I was like wondering how much, because everybody, if you're like interested in games, you will find all the game related stuff if you want in this town, and it's relatively easy to go there. But it's like in a bigger city or a more densely populated country, it's like or organizing. I'm like interested, like how much does the part of town where you organize stuff like affect the things you do, and like how kind of exclusive it might become in that relation, or like how widespread is the invite, and how do you like most of all, maybe I'm interested, like do you still get like surprises in your hometown, like, oh, there was this, like I heard about the one example where you found already existing community and you could just jump in and continue from that, and it sounded like it's a little bit of a surprise for you. And in Tampere it's really not that probable to have big surprises in that sense. And I was like, I'm just trying to wrap my head around like what is it like to organize stuff there compared to here. Of course, it's a little bit uneven question because you don't know how it's here, but I'm trying to. So if you can comment on that a little bit, it would be great. Like how far can you reach? How far is your reach when you start to organize a network?
Yes, thank you, because that's a very critical issue, and I think very different dynamics in between the countries. I can talk about my experience in Denmark. I don't know if it would be similar to Finland, but for example, when I've been to Denmark during 3 months in a stay with Miguel Sicard and recently. So one of the things that I found is that all the community center and community spaces are very institutionalized. So are very well funded, but the things that you can do are very rigid, and they have to fit inside bureaucracy. In Spain, in the country, we have very precarious investment in these kind of places, in community centers. But the good thing is that it is very flexible to do whatever you want. These kind of community centers are very voluntary. I do it voluntary because I have my salary with university. And the people who are collaborating, they do it voluntary also. and we struggle a lot to find some of investment. So the point of here that it is voluntary and self-organized, I don't know how to say, it became I don't know, it makes it more easier. Sorry. There's also I don't know if I can talk a lot about more about this because in Barcelona, in the neighborhood that we're working on, it is not the neighborhood that you would choose to do a video game club. Also, I don't live in Barcelona. I live in a small city in the center of Catalonia of 40,000 people. And we have gaming clubs in here. And I come from a village of 9,000 people. And they're also doing gaming things. So it really changes the socioeconomical conditions, the motivation that they're coming to the club. And with this I end, one of the things that I find is that to the club they come people with that really loves video games, and they have, let's say, a middle class socioeconomical condition. But in the other side, they come from more lower or very vulnerable situations, but they come because of a recommendation of someone of trust. So it's there is an effective relationship that you have to build, or I have to build with them for them to come. And they will come for the social debate, for the political debate, or for the effective relationship, not much because of games. That is what I can answer. But I will be glad to be speaking about this a lot. Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think that is all of our time for today. So thank you so much to all of our speakers. We can give a digital round of applause for everyone visually seeing it. Thank you all very much. We will be having these research talks every month through May. So I believe in March is our next research talk on games and pain. So we hope to see you all there. Thank you again to all of our speakers. Really cool projects happening in Barcelona, and we'll see you later. Okay. Bye.